now.
I never in a million years would have ever thought that this would be us, you know, even seeing all these accidents on the MONON myself.
Concerns about safety on the MONON Trail. A woman's husband now on a ventilator after being hit by a motorcycle. We'll show you where this was on the trail and what you have to know.
Students returning to college campuses in Indiana, and this year is not going to be like any other. Tonight, a closer look at the safety measures now in place.
A fanless Indianapolis 500 did not just impact Indianapolis Motor Speedway and the people who wanted to go to the race. Who else is feeling the financial fallout and what they're doing to stay afloat?
It was warm yesterday on race day, 91 today, but the warmest still to come.
Thanks for joining us here on this Monday here on WRTV News at 6. I'm Mark Mullins.
And I'm Amanda Starrentino. First tonight, a woman is sharing what happened to her husband while biking on the MONON Trail in hopes of saving others. She wants to call attention to this major problem, she says. WRTV's Stephanie Wade shares their story and gets the city's response.
Katie Swaney's husband, Jack, rides his bike every night.
Usually he's gone a few hours. It's pretty standard. Around like 9:30, I started realizing he wasn't home.
But last Wednesday evening, he never made it back. His phone going straight to voicemail. Then the call came in.
I already knew, like right when that happened, I just knew it was the hospital most likely.
It was Methodist Hospital informing Swaney that her husband had been hit by a motorcycle while riding along the MONON Trail and crossing this busy detour at 38th Street.
When I saw him, I just fell to the ground crying. Sorry, I'm probably going to start getting emotional.
Jack was rushed into surgery with 2 collapsed lungs, a compound fracture in his femur, his spleen removed, 4 broken ribs, and the list goes on. He was even on the ventilator at one point. The motorcyclist also taken to the hospital. The worst part, Swaney says, because of COVID.
It's really terribly sad that we can't be there with him.
Now, this isn't the first crash she says she's seen on the MONON Trail.
I just can't even count anymore how many accidents we have seen.
Saying she feels the signage isn't very clear, alerting drivers to watch for pedestrians.
I would love to see stop signs, minimally some kind of signage that is very clearly stating who has the right-of-way that drivers can see.
And cyclists and pedestrians often put themselves at risk at these busy intersections.
I mean, obviously nobody's walking out or biking out into oncoming traffic on purpose. And then a car just comes barreling around the corner. 52nd is terrible as a driver as well. You can't see past the bushes. You can't see when there's people coming.
DPW says where Swaney's husband was hit near 38th and Winthrop is a temporary detour while they build a new bridge carrying the MONON over 38th in order to improve safety. Jack's family has this message for people behind the wheel.
Slow down. There's nothing that is worth a life. There's absolutely nothing.
Stephanie Wade, WRTV.
Per Indiana law, drivers should always yield the right-of-way to trail users. DPW says many of the MONON Trail intersections include flashing beacons or signage for vehicles that say yield to trail users or something similar. There is also signage on the trail notifying cyclists and pedestrians of the upcoming intersection. Though pedestrians do have the right-of-way, there is signage encouraging them to stop to ensure drivers see them and are in fact yielding.
The heat is on in central Indiana. It's warmer now than it's been in about a month. You can feel it. Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory shows us how long these higher temperatures will last. Hey, Kevin.
Yeah, the heat is on, Mark, and the heat is building. And temperatures in the metro areas, you can see all around that 90-degree mark. Let me show you what it looks like in the Indy. If you have a thermometer at home and you go look at it and it's much warmer than the 89 that I'm showing you, perhaps it's getting direct sunlight or warmth from the bricks of the house or the driveway. The official thermometer is kept in shade and above grass, so we get the air temperature. That wind west at 14 miles per hour, so that helps out a little bit. Temperature 93 in Lafayette and above 90 degrees in Sullivan, 90 in Bedford. Notice then to the east, 70s in Richmond because of the rain. There are your Heat index values still 95 to 100 in spots. There are scattered showers and thunderstorms to the south, just south of Interstate 70 from Terre Haute to almost Richmond. We'll look at that line in more detail coming up in a bit.
See you soon, Kevin. Thank you. The state releasing new COVID-19 numbers today. Data from the Indiana Department of Health shows 688 new cases of coronavirus. That's up slightly from yesterday. In total, 87,592 Hoosiers have tested positive for COVID-19. The state also reports 5 new deaths from coronavirus. Since the pandemic began in March, 3,008 people in Indiana have died from COVID-19. So far, 1,002,038 Hoosiers have been tested for the virus, with 8.7% of them testing positive for COVID-19. The State Department of Health also says about 44% of Indiana's ICU beds are available. COVID-19 patients are using nearly 11% of the ICU beds. Non-COVID-19 patients are using around 45% of those beds. About 84% of the state's ventilators are also now available.
Many college students around Indiana finished their first day of class today, but just like most of 2020 has been, everything is different for those returning to campus. WRTV's Megan Sanctorum shows us what is different and what's in place to keep college students and staff safe.
Colleges all across the state are working to keep students safe as they start the school year, and that looks a little different on each campus. Here at Butler University, administrators made a last-minute decision to start the semester virtually. Undergrads just learning yesterday their first 2 weeks of classes will all be done online. Leaders say it was due to students not following COVID-19 safety precautions and dozens of students already being placed in quarantine.
There is that select few that kind of have been not following the safety directions they gave us. So it's kind of because of them that we do have to shut down. So I just kind of wish everyone can come together and realize that for the greater good, we do need to follow all the safety precautions.
In-person learning began today down in Bloomington at Indiana University and up at Purdue. But there are strict guidelines in place. At Purdue, we saw one class happening outside. We also found tables set up with dividers and hand sanitizer. Students there say it's a different feel than they're used to.
You would never sit here and think, well, I'm wearing a mask in a chemistry class, you know, having to be so far away from everyone. And you do feel the distance, even though there's 50,000 kids here on campus, you feel the distance.
Most students saying they're just happy to be on campus. Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, WRTV.
And administrators at all 3 schools are warning students about taking part in large gatherings. Those who don't could face disciplinary action, including suspension or expulsion.
Takim Osado won the 104th running of the Indianapolis 500 in a way no one else has, without fans cheering and buzzing in the stands, and that's all because of the pandemic. It may have been extremely strange to watch a race that usually draws in around 300,000 people with no one in attendance. But the impact of a fanless Indy 500 stretches far beyond what you saw on TV. In fact, you just need to step right outside of IMS and into downtown Speedway to understand what not having hundreds of thousands of people in the area can do to businesses and organizations there. WRTV's Troy Washington shows us the impact and explains what some businesses are now doing to stay afloat.
The town of Speedway is getting innovative with their fundraising efforts. Last week, WRTV told you missing a major fundraiser would set some nonprofits back to the tune of $272,000.
IMS and all of the wonderful folks over there, the drivers, everybody associated with IndyCar was really disheartened when we weren't able to have fans in the stands. Fans is what makes everything go around here in Speedway.
Since those nonprofits and the town relies heavily on that money to make it through the year, it wasn't a matter of not having the money, but rather how the town would unite to generate the funds.
We're really seeking a broader audience as well. The Indy 500 gives us access to race fans from all over the world, and all of their contributions during race day typically help us out as a small community. We're a town of only 12,000 people, and so we're having to push a grassroots campaign here now to try to spread the word.
The Exchange Club of Speedway is hoping the effort catches on to keep them from cutting back on their contributions.
We give back to other organizations. We've given over $1.2 million to the Children's Bureau here in Indianapolis over the last 20 or 30 30 years, and that impacts our ability to do that this year. We give back scholarships to all of the local schools, and again, that's going to impact our ability to do that. So we're just seeking new alternative ways, working in conjunction with the town to try to make that happen this year. Even organizations like the Speedway Trails Association is going to have to make operational decisions on how they're able to spend their money this year more wisely.
The town believes it's possible to recover from this year. It's just going to take a little more creativity and teamwork than it has in the past. Working for you in Speedway, Troy Washington, WRTV.
And find out how you can take part in helping out those Speedway organizations when you read this story on WRTV.com.
The goal of our Hiring Hoosiers initiative is to make sure you know what jobs are available to you. And one of the ways we do that is through our job feed. CRF First Choice provides services to people with disabilities. The company needs direct support professionals. They have day shift and night shift openings. TRILOGY Health Services is hiring dietary aides. You would grow your career through the company's meal apprenticeship program, and that would allow you to earn more money. On a daily basis, you will serve meals to the residents of the company's health campus. Again, this is through TRILOGY Health Services. And Hiring Hoosiers Partners Feriana is hosting an outdoor hiring event on Wednesday, August 26th and Thursday, August 27th. It goes from 10 until 2 each day. It's happening at 160 Plainfield Village Drive in Plainfield. There is a link for you to register on Spherian's post on the Hiring Hoosiers Facebook page. And you can find even more jobs on the job board at hiringhoosiers.com and on the Hiring Hoosiers Facebook page. School buses are one of the main ways students get to school, even during COVID-19. Call 6 Investigates finds out why safety features wanted by bus drivers during the pandemic are not allowed.
And coming up, he's still smiling. No, you can't tell with the mask on, but he's Takuma Sato, a two-time Indy 500 champion, coming up on WRTV Trackside.
And he's got a lot to smile about. The umbrellas are up near Shelbyville, Interstate 74 and State Road 44. Another downpour east of Franklin. Talk about some changes ahead coming up.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 6, streaming now.
Welcome back. In-person classes are back in session for many local school districts.
That means you need to slow down in the mornings and afternoons when buses are full of students and those are on the road.
We've been hearing from some school bus drivers who want more safety features added to their vehicles.
But Call 6 Chief Investigator Rafael Sanchez has found out the answer will be no.
It's one of the few things COVID-19 did not delay.
Bumper down for low air.
Like clockwork.
Good, good, good.
State law requires school buses to be checked every year. State police teams are tackling this task.
We check everything from the front of the vehicle to the rear of the vehicle, which includes all the lights, major mechanical issues as far as the bumper, the frame, the axles. We check all the braking systems.
Buses 12 years and older get a second look during the year.
It's for the safety of the passengers.
Release! The inspector's checklist is extensive, and failure to comply can force the bus to be pulled from service.
Can we add other safety features? State police, would you allow this to happen?
Currently, right now, we cannot allow it to happen because it has to be approved by the Department of Education and the State School Bus Committee for Transportation.
Public transit systems like Indigo added plexiglass like this to shield the driver from the passengers. School bus drivers hoping to see a similar change, or parents hoping to see hand sanitizing dispensers on the buses will not see it.
As of right now, currently, they cannot have the alcohol hand sanitizer stations mounted in the bus because it's not approved. You can still have a small passenger, the kids can still carry their own, the driver could have their own, but as far as the plexiglass going on there, they cannot have the plexiglass because it's not approved yet for the inspection process.
From top to bottom, the checkups are complete as schools cruise into a new academic year.
Working for you, Rafael Sanchez, WRTV.
More than 14,000 buses are inspected statewide. Hundreds of buses undergo random checks as well. You can always check on your child's state inspection. We do have that information for you on our website at WRTV.com.
Did you feel the difference yesterday? Upper 80s. Today we made it into the low 90s. In some cases, mid 90s. Lafayette hit 95. Where are we now? All in the upper 80s with a mixture of clouds and sunshine, a little west breeze at about 10 miles per hour. Talked about the radar a minute ago. Let me take you on a little tour. We've got just a few downpours, but that's what they are, very localized in western portions of Clay County, south of Interstate 70, just northeast of Spencer, just to the northwest of Martinsville. There's some lightning associated with the storm. State Road 44 and I-65 on the east side then of Franklin, and the downpour just east of Shelbyville. Our rain chances tomorrow are very low, but to the north and east of Indianapolis, there'll be a chance of showers more likely toward Fort Wayne. Dry Wednesday. Then our rain chances increase Thursday and Friday. The national story this week, Marco is along the Gulf Coast now, but what is Tropical Storm Laura likely to become a hurricane, make landfall, could be a Category 2 overnight Wednesday into early Thursday. The track from the National Hurricane Center keeps the center of that south of the Ohio River, but it will increase our rain chance. Watch then as I let this play out from now through the next couple of days into Wednesday and then early Thursday. You see how that makes landfall, and then we'll start to drift north and east. But already by that time on Thursday, we've got increased moisture and a chance for thunderstorms on a more widespread basis. Humidity is high through the rest of the work week into the weekend. It's late weekend that we see that humidity drop off. Temperature tomorrow, 93. We've been at 94 on 2 occasions this summer. 92 Wednesday for the high temperature, and a little cooler, as mentioned, on Thursday. Hourly forecast tomorrow should be to 90 degrees between 1 o'clock, say noon to 1 is when we're likely to hit 90 degrees. If we see any thunderstorms tomorrow, a couple could be strong in the northeast portion of the state. Again, that moves through mid to late morning to early afternoon. For us, it's all about sunshine and 92 Wednesday. Chance of thunderstorms on a more widespread basis, especially Thursday and Friday. Temperatures do come back down into the lower 80s. Overnight lows may even be in the upper 50s by the time we get to early next week. We've got the heat, first part of the forecast, cooler but wetter second half of the week.
Thank you, Kevin. We appreciate it. In just a few minutes, the Indiana Pacers and Miami Heat will tip off in Game 4 of their first round playoff series. Of course, it's happening in the NBA bubble in Orlando, Florida. This is literally a must-win game for the Pacers. It's a 7-game series, so the first team to 4 wins moves on to the second round. The Heat are up 3-0. So if the blue and gold lose, their season is over. Tip-off is scheduled for 6:30, so again, just minutes from now. Race fans around the world still talking about yesterday's Indy 500 win, namely in Japan, where they're celebrating Takuma Sato's second 500 victory.
And today, Takuma and the team honored in an abbreviated victory celebration, but not before he stopped by and spoke with sports director Dave FURST.
24 hours later, guys, the feeling is still there. Now a 2-time champion, Takuma Sato, got it done yesterday. A great car in the end, the fastest car in the end, and really, that's all that matters, right?
It was. Really, it's absolute team effort.
Yeah.
You know, entire credit has to go to the team. And I'm so proud to be part of the team. And number 30 car worked extremely well at the end of the race, which we always wanted to.
Yeah.
I know every single driver, every single team wanted to, but we put the puzzle, everything, every piece of the puzzle put it right place.
Did you hear Roger Penske at the beginning when he gave the command?
I want to thank the Holman George family for 75 years of leadership. Also, the passionate fans who are not here today, but guess what? We'll be back home in Indiana in 2021. Be safe, have fun. Drivers, start your engines.
The job he has done around here, even though the fans weren't here, you can tell this is a much different place, isn't it?
It's incredible. The input, Mr. Roger Penske, who is just a raving legend for everybody's respect, and that guy putting so much effort and commitment in this Indianapolis Motor Speedway after a great Holman George family putting this history place. And if you go to every single place, this seat is not used and this weather mask, you can see Indy was prepared for the coming you know, the spectators for this August. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, but you can see the Roger put so much effort, and we all love this.
And you were the first to celebrate up on the new victory circle up there with
that's special.
David Letterman and Mike Lanigan. Lanigan's first Indy 500. He was on cloud 9, man.
I know. I'm so particularly big thank you to Mike Lanigan. Of course, David Letterman, and of course the Bobby Rahal. Ultimately, he made a decision. But particularly for me, Mr. Mike Lanigan, who put the financial commitment on my 30 cars. Without his commitment, I wouldn't be able to drive.
Yeah.
So these 3 big team owners, they gave me a second opportunity after 2012. And this is just an amazing situation. And I really, really wanted to give them back. It took 8 years, but finally, yesterday, that was the day. And how happy Mike and David was. And I was so, so grateful.
Speaking of cloud 9, he's still riding it right now. Congratulations to Takuma Sato, now a 2-time Indy 500 champion. Not bad, huh?
Welcome back. It's time for our WRTV photo of the day. This picture comes to us from Pam Stoltz in Yorktown. What is it, Mark?
There is a story here. Pam says during recess, one of her second graders spotted this cicada emerging from its shell. She says the student was so excited and proud of his observation skills there.
Oh, look at that. It just goes to show that if you are in the moment and paying attention like that student was, you can see parts of nature you never thought you would see.
There you go, nature at work right there. Send us your photo of the day. It's easy. Just email it to news@WRTV.com.
And maybe you'll snap a picture of a towering area of rain this evening. Most of us stayed dry as the storms isolated. Fade away by 11. Amanda?
Thanks, Kevin, and thank you for joining us.